Good afternoon, everybody. It is Melissa Johnson speaking. I am the Principal Psychologist and the Director of Thriving Mind Psychology Clinic located here on the Sunshine Coast. We're having a bit of a rainy day today on the Sunshine Coast, but welcome to vlog number 14 of the 90-day vlog challenge. I apologise, the lighting is not that great out here, but I'm going to persist anyway. So today is part 2 of my 2-part series of how to access a psychologist. So yesterday I went through 2 main access points. So the first one was, of course, as a private patient or a private client, which means that you actually do not need a referral. The second one that we talked about was a GP referral via a mental health care plan. And that was where it's a Medicare funded program, and they sort of help kickstart your treatment by providing a little bit of a rebate towards your treatment sessions. So they were the first 2. Today I'm going to discuss another 3. The first one is EAPs. So EAP stands for Employee Assistance Program. And what that means is most bigger companies or big businesses will provide their employees and their families access to psychological services. So it's worth checking if your employee does actually have an EAP program for you. And what that means is they sign up to, there's a few different companies that offer EAP. And then they contract out to associate psychologists like myself across the nation, really, so that there's somebody always close by, generally to where you might live, that you can access the services. So, for example, in my clinic, I am a accredited provider for DTC, who is an EAP provider for some bigger companies here on the Sunshine Coast, including UE and a few others. And I'm also accredited with Griffin Psychology, who is quite a big EAP provider for many of the mining sites and many of the more industrial companies. So we cater to people that fly in, fly out, but we also cater to some companies here on the Sunshine Coast who Griffin also provide to. So that is EAP. Now, depending on the contract that your company has with the EAP provider, that will decide on how many sessions you're eligible to receive. But on average, it's normally around 3 to 6 sessions that you can receive free. Your company pays for that to go and see a psychologist to assist with whatever it is that you might need assistance with. And that is not just available to you, it's also available to your family. So that's the first one, EAP, Employee Assistance Program. It's worth checking into. The next one is insurance. So there's 3 sort of main categories of insurance that you might be eligible to receive psychological services through. The first one is private health. So that's a bit better. Many private health covers will cover you for a certain amount of psychological services. I can't tell you whether that's the case. I can't tell you how many or how much they will cover, because everyone's sort of I've completely lost what I'm saying. Everybody's insurance is different depending on what sort of insurance you have selected to have. So it's worth checking in with your private health insurance company and to have a look at what your cover includes and whether your cover includes mental health, and if so, how many sessions or how much they will cover for you. So that's the first way via insurance that you might be able to access a psychologist. The second way is through work cover. So if you have had an injury at work, and often what happens is you're not able to return back to work to your full duties, or it's caused some distress or physical injuries, you may also be able to access a psychologist through a work cover claim. And the last insurance is something that is not very well known, and it is Motor Accident Insurance Commission. So that is what that means is if you are involved in a motor vehicle accident and it has caused you some distress, you may also be able to see a psychologist via that scheme. So it's worth talking to your car insurance to see whether or not that's something that you're eligible for. So that's the second group of insurances. The last lot of ways that you may be able to, or the last lot of way I'm talking about today, is a DVA, which stands for Department of Veterans Affairs. So if you are a DVA card holder, you may also be eligible to receive some sort of psychological services. And the same goes for VBCS, which stands for Veterans and Veterans Families Counselling Service. So you may also be, if you're a veteran, eligible via those two services to seek a psychologist, and also I believe some of those eligibility criteria are also hold true for your family. Okay, so they are the last 3 ways of seeking or seeing a psychologist that I'm talking about today. There are many more. They are just the ones I'm going to cover. They're probably the most relevant to me. However, if you do have any other questions, please feel free to email me or message me. I'm happy to answer them for you. But they are the first 5. So we have private, we have GP referral with a mental health care plan, we have insurances, we have EAPs, and we also have DVA and VBCS. So there's a number of different ways that you can access a psychologist. So if you think that you might benefit from seeing a psychologist or maybe a loved one, check out some of those ways and look into it and give that psychologist a call and make that first step and make that first appointment. It's always the hardest, is to get over that first obstacle of making that appointment and getting to that first session. Gets a bit easier after that. All right, that's me for this Saturday. Tomorrow, I'm probably coming to you quite early in the morning. I'll see. I'm doing something a little bit new and exciting and probably a little bit silly tomorrow. So I will tell you all about that then. I hope you enjoy the rest of your Saturday and the rest of your weekend. And as always, don't forget, there's never been a better day than today to take the steps to having your thriving mind and your thriving life. Bye for now.